Going live at twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman and youtube.com/bin Hamin. Always posted free at hackerhamin.podbean.com or on your iTunes, wherever you're getting them. Spotify, who knows, because ain't nothing going on but the bomb-ass rap song. Stevie's hitting kicks all night long, just like me on the black and white ivory, getting 6 on artillery. You don't want to see a G break your ass like dishes, infidels. Buster ass tricks, go sleep with the fishes. And they might, if you cross Marty Janetty in a back alley, infidel, you could be sleeping with the fishes. And we're going to kick it live here and direct on your Ultra Kayfabe Declassified Friday Locker Room Thursday taping at twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman. Yalla. Oh, come on, broasters. I need you. Let's get some caffeine going. Big production day ahead, and looking forward to doing business and talking some shit with my main man, my big brother. He's in gray today with sleeves, so he's sleevey cool. How you doing this morning, buddy?
I wear sleeves a lot. I haven't been sleeveless a whole lot lately. I can't find anything that's soft enough for my sensitive skin. So clothing manufacturers, I think a lot of them, there's a rumor, a lot of them are based in China. So the supply chain isn't really that great. And the kids in the basement with the bands, they're too busy right now because I know gym in America is closing down.
I know they're right at work pounding out the iron down there. You had to get a forge and all this extra stuff so you can start smithing your own bars and stuff like that, man. Impressive how you switched on a dime from bands to heavyweights and got those kids working overtime in the hot summer sun.
Yeah, we had a choice between ventilators or barbells. We went with the barbells. I think it was a smart choice.
No brainer.
Cuomo would have just hoarded them all anyway, so we never got to the people.
People are ribbing them huge online right now because everybody left New York City who's got any money for their houses wherever, Martha's Vineyard or, wherever they're going to go. And he's even like, wealthy New Yorkers, come on back. We need you. We'll buy you a drink. Just like,
Not after 10 p.m. though.
Yeah, not after 10 p.m. Yeah.
Here's the thing, dude. I can see him. He has a lot of Vince tendencies. Vince McMahon, I can see him literally going, fuck him. Like at first, and then realizing, oh, we lost how many? You defunded the police, $1 billion. You lost billions. And I think they said, what is there, like 80,000 businesses in New York, and like 30% of them are done and never coming back at this point, right now, before the second lockdown.
Yep. I mean, my business locally being B2B, just seeing them be destroyed and then trying to come back to do any salvage that I can for them. But nobody's traveling, and ones that are based on foot traffic, like my Cooperstown connection, the Hall of Fame, spinoff and things like that, even though they're open, it's still at a fraction of where it ever was and should be, and a lot of things they do with signings, they've had Aaron Judge and like all the Yankees top guys, Red Sox top guys, everybody from Ron Simmons to Dennis Rodman, really. And none of that's going on right now. So I really feel for them and myself too. Even when I send a bill, I try and even knock a little off because I know it's tough times for everybody. And why go in on somebody who's already, if they're hurting, so are we. So I try and give a little leeway, but thankfully, Dippin' Donuts is always cranking. I mean, even though really they're down too, but it's tough to see because people love it around here. So as being a B2B server, I like it to be able to come up with innovative ideas for our clients. Thankfully, outside of my local stuff, the people we consult for, we've been able to really pivot during the time of COVID because we know people are on lockdown looking for entertainment and you're not out doing shows on the weekends and stuff like that. Well, that doesn't mean you can't stop doing shows or building your brand or having an opinion. And people we've been working with, from Angel and the Wrestling with Tragedy staff, with Goldilocks, with Russo, with Stevie Ray, with your brand, with Hamin Media Group, with the affiliate split off for both of those. Dude, it's been a pretty expansive time when a lot of people just kind of not tuck their heads between their legs and kiss their ass goodbye. You know what I mean? But we just had to come up with new and innovative ways to thrive. I think we've done fairly well in an extremely tough time.
Well, we were ahead of the curve when this wasn't necessarily a monetized model. At home workouts, home gyms.
Right.
Also, mainstream media is crumbling beneath their foundation. So, the rise of this type of media and all that stuff, and even content there, and even the content of wrestling with Russo, where you're not just giving the narrative. That's what we're all about. We don't really just placate to the narrative. We're not waiting for any kind of calls. It's really just the truth. And it got, I'm telling you, in the beginning, we got a lot of blowback, got a lot of people who probably wouldn't talk to us for even associating with Vince. I know I dealt with it even before I started recording the podcast with him, just throughout the years of, being friends with him was you laugh about the Jesus stuff and everything, but I was forced one time, and I didn't, to basically try to say Vince Russo is a whatever, and I was like, I'm not going to say that. I've never had that deal. You need to say it. Like, you've been in the locker room where it's like you got the big bully policeman or the enforcers trying to get you to. I'm like, I'm just not going to. Well, you're buried then, right to my face. And I was buried. Getting back to the New York City thing, there's a kid, Louis Rossman, who runs a computer shop there, and commercial real estate, it's almost like this, not that it's needed to happen, but there's a lot of different things that are wrong with commercial real estate where he said some stuff like 9 or 10 years has been empty and vacant because the landlords will not come down on the rent. They'd rather wait 9 years to get somebody to pay 20 grand. It's so stupid in a way. And even then, like, the landlords are charging full rent to people now after July 31st, which, I mean, I get it. Yeah. But it's at the same time, he makes a great point. Okay. You're throwing these businesses out that can only afford to give you 6 grand rather than 10. It's illegal to even open up a business route. What do you try? It's so short-sighted on so many different levels. And that's why our model, we might not make enough to pay $20,000 a month in rent, but guess what? We're not paying $20,000 a month in rent. We have almost no overhead, and it's almost pure profit. It's just labor and resources. That's really all it is.
Absolutely. No, I mean, we have a couple hard goods that we sell, but that's usually B2B, is us as middlemen. Take these off.
Yeah, you have the inventory that we carry is not in our homes that we have to ship out into. We're just basically the facilitator. My bands and the anchors and all the other stuff get drop shipped through Dynapro. They handle customer service, warranty support, returns, all that stuff. That's amazing. Yeah, I'll get, you know what I mean? For the little bit of money they even give me on top of that, it's worth it not to have the headache of dealing with customer service issues all day.
Absolutely. And, also just to be in like, okay, I'm in the headspace of, all right, I've wanted to be consultant and all that kind of gimmick my whole career. And now here I am being able to do that, and possibly in the early phases, not generate much, but even anything's better than nothing. And where can that go expansive wise? So, and everybody feels empowered off of it too. That's the other thing, because they see what we try to give to our friends a lot of times and people we care about, and they just don't want to run with the ball. Here's people we're building a relationship and caring about who didn't know us from Adam, who, maybe in the biz, your name and cross me after Russo would put it over, but they're doing great things. And it just really takes somebody saying yes, and yes, you can, and going forward with it. But the way this stuff is going with Cuomo is just a complete mind F, fully just to drive people even more insane. So I try not to pay attention to it and just stay in our, stay in our lane and keep pushing everything forward, man. Because it seems like, I hate to jinx anything, but it seems like, all right, we got the cruise control set and we're pretty steady right now. I feel good about it, dude. And I appreciate everybody here in the chat room at twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman cheering those bits. We got the custom made emoticons for the conspiracy horseman in there. If you guys enjoy doing that kind of stuff, man, I made Odin and the horseman last night, and try and make a couple others maybe here today, some fun ones. You taking suggestions of what we want to do. I was going to do an SRF fitness one, and maybe a couple other Hamin heads for for our higher tier subscribers. I know Andresen's in there, a big supporter of what we do. Thanks for the bits, Jay Hall, and to you, Double A. Last night, it was 37 custom toys with the visits. So appreciate all you guys tuning in whenever you can. We're about 14 strong right now for the Ultra Kayfabe Declassified Friday locker room. Big Stevie Cool. Wrestling Redneck says, can't wait for that Horseman podcast to come out after that big explosion and see what was gone. He wasn't able to join us last night, but definitely the first half of our show is a lot about Beirut. And actually, Stevie, you know that hardcore, I was talking to El Plaja, and this is why I appreciate our staff massively. We got sent that super gory, aftermath with the bodies ripped apart. Fake. It's from like a DVD of hardcore, like
Faces of Death.
Like it's supposed to be like that for movie producers or whatever, like B-roll to have that kind of shit. And fucking, he got it within the first 6 hours and took it down off there. I mean, there's plenty of other parts that aren't, but like now we have up, we're getting in other footage from Beirut where it looks like there's a drone. It looks like there's a bomb that drops. I saw the early footage where somebody had it just circled, but it really took some zooming in and video work. And those videos are out now. Could it be faked? Obviously, in the day of After Effects. And you can even, if you want to fake something that looks zoomed in, you can pixelate it perfectly and match it. I mean, that's where we are. But
they said there was planes flying overhead. I didn't hear that in the initial videos, and then that
right.
could be added in too. Oh man, it freezes you. There's so many psyops out there.
We gotta call it for what it is. We'd love to be like, see, I told you, and that would have been me 1998. See, I told you that shit where they were and that's not the story, and like screaming at people. But now it's like you gotta fucking do that, and then say maybe, and then say these people are still dead from it. Now let's look at the impact zone. But I was talking to Stevie Ray last night instead of watching AEW, which I was very just like, I don't want to mark out or anything like that because we've been in the biz way too long, but I'm just like, it's 10:30 at night. I'm talking to the 10-time tag champion Hall of Famer about OJ Simpson and and all this kind of stuff that's going on in Beirut with it. And he was telling me about because he was close to the blast in Texas there, and they were brought up with that, knowing that the ports were there, and if anything would go down, like they give you the false hide under your desk speech when you're a kid and shit right before you're incinerated. But he said from where it was the explosion and 5 miles out from there, houses were windows were blown out and things like that, and that was ammonium nitrate. Now we've seen a blast zone of 15 in the graphics that have been getting kicked around, and I don't know what the tonnage was in Texas of that ammonium nitrate plant when it went up, but from those trains and all that, but it was 2,700 tons supposedly in that Russian tanker that was right there next to the Rothschild.
50, and I think just under or over 2,700 in Texas. So there's about 50 tons more. So,
okay,
which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's still 2,100 pounds times 50 is what it was. So over 100,000 pounds extra.
Yeah. And the one in Texas was kind of going off for a bit and then went, so pretty interesting as far as what we could compare it to, where we've tried to do 9/11 comparisons and none of the architecture of devastation stacks up. Here's something we may actually be able to dispel based on incendiary and whatever impact. I mean, I'm not the guy to be putting that math together, just to look at those who are. But now we have these, and Trump in his first statement saying it was an attack, and now we have these drone looking gimmicks in the videos, and people saying in the new ones you can hear jets overhead. Now, is it added in post or is it the real deal? Mm-hmm. That we don't know. But if it does, we also have been looking at everything Ghislaine Maxwell, everything Epstein, everything Pedogate, Pizzagate, the downfall and exposure of the Soros party and da-da-da. And we said, it's coming. A big misdirection, jump up spot's coming. And isn't this possibly it right here? So we're in the eye of the hurricane, in the eye of the shitacane, Randy. we'll see what Bo Bandy's going to do, man, to get out of this one. Well, I don't know. I mean, we can't know. All we can say is things are spinning. I'm going to try and plant my feet and say, okay, let me see a couple pieces of evidence that don't make sense. Maybe we can unravel something. Maybe we can dispel something, but we have to look at it logistically and unemotionally, even though it's people's lives and our planet being ruled by insane psychopaths are possibly behind it all that we want to tear down. Stevie, welcome to the Friday Locker Room.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun, everything going on in the world. I want people to know, because we usually call out the Clintons, we usually call out the liberals and the Antifa people and all that stuff. But no, the adrenochrome has dried up, so that's not a thing right now. But that's one of the comments that was wrestling redneck in the chat room. The thing with this is both sides are gangsters. Both sides are liars. Both sides will never let a good crisis go to waste. And that includes Trump, who maybe came out and said, this is an attack to say we need a strong wartime president and not Joe Biden. So we have to look at it both ways. Because who's going to look at that? Who's going to
fire away for re-election to involve yourself in a war right ahead of time?
Yeah. And also, because think about it, we always have an October surprise. We always have, now we have an August surprise. Now we have something here that before debate can be fuel to say, do you think Joe Biden and his dementia state, which I think is real, that's not a work, his cognitive lack of decision-making, not even knowing where he is, do you think that's the right choice right now when we're about to enter World War III?
No, I think they're all shaking in their boots, man, because if we're talking 4D chess, what might have happened might be completely Mossad, Saudi, and
well, I'm just saying to put to the potential voters in this country, I'm saying Trump taking advantage of that, whether it's real or not. When he said it was attack,
no good crisis go to waste, bro.
He would be in people's mind a better wartime president. And also, let's think about the pandemic and let's think about the economy. We just talked about the everything. Businesses going out of business. There's no more real small businesses anymore. Things are just as bad as they could be in the economy for as good as they were before the pandemic. The bubble had to burst. What is the only kind of economy that's sustainable, the only kind of economy in the past 100 years that's the most profitable, best, most productive to put everybody to work? A wartime economy. The coin shortage. You don't think the coin shortage is a pretty suspicious? Because I was reading up about back in World War II, World War I even, where people had to turn in their coins to make bullets and, so we can build, guns and warships. And
remember when Department of Homeland Security and even weird departments like the library fucking whatever was buying like $80,000 or 80,000 rounds of bullets under Obama? Like, remember all those crazy purchases for rounds under strange fucking, what have you? Like, sorry.
But this is the only economy that can get us out of what we're in right now.
Mm.
War is the only thing that can save this country in the current economic model. Do you agree with that? It's not right.
I agree with it as their plans. Do I agree with it in my strategy? No, but
I don't either.
What their fucking plan is for sure. KMJ says, you guys still think of every state lockdown, and if you guys looked into the New Jersey gym owner fighting the restraining order or fighting against the governor,
favorite gyms, Attila's gym,
wants to fine them $10,000 every day they were open against the order he had. So we've got some mob pushback against some civilians who said, fuck you. And, they want to shake them down now and threaten them because it's going against the narrative of whoever they're taking kickbacks from. But he says, what would you and Stevie do if you were that gym owner? Well, if I'm in Jersey, I'm definitely getting mobbed up. I'm definitely going to go to the bosses on the street who can protect me, who have the fucking connections, Tony Soprano style. I thought about this too. This is off topic, but talked about open the Jamaica Fed. And to do that, you got to fucking like walk in like a boss, deal with the fucking tourist stuff, and then go get a pass from the Jamaican mob to be able to operate anything. So there's a a part of this thing in the underground where you have to be at street level knowledgeable and be able to read the streets, because Cuomo and them aren't that. And they're dealing with these high level banksters and fraudsters from Wall Street who are capitalizing off this because they're shorting the market, shorting the housing market, knowing who's going to drop fucking hydrochloroquine or whatever the fuck adrenochrome shoe number 5 is going to be. And they're going to cash in on that too. And if you fuck with that in the sheep, where the sheep flock is, then they're going to fuck with you at 10 grand a day. And then you say, fuck you, I'm not going to pay it. And they say, fuck you, pay me, I got the cops. Well, that's when you got to pull the trigger on the streets and go, you want to fuck with this? Like, you have to have that all set up in my mind. I know that's a lot of chess, and it seems like, oh, you're going to talk to the mob. No, it's about, I could go right now with my B2B business and talk to business owners if I really didn't have this Hamin media thing and have a real chamber like of power there. If people are frustrated and disenfranchised and you find a way to collectivize them when they have a real gripe and they want to make them heels, well, it's heels over strong when it comes to it at the end of the day, because these ruling class of governors have nothing to lose but their seat of power that's fake. They're already getting kickbacks and cashing in. When they leave, they're even more dangerous. You think Rumsfeld, Cheney, and all these fuckers are just out playing golf, not doing shit? They are the ones behind all this shit after they left. They're more dangerous when they're out of the public light. So it's just about standing your ground when it comes to it in the face of tyranny. And if you believe in it and it's at the end of a barrel, that's about as real as it fucking gets. And if they pull the trigger, well, now we're off to a whole nother thing. It's calling somebody's bluff. It really is high stakes poker with your life, your business, and your morals. And what are you going to do when it's challenged to some degree? The internet's a super powerful thing. And even if they did start finding them, he could put up a GoFundMe. People who just say, fuck you, who are super conservatives, would donate all day long to fucking help him pay the fines to stay open as an act of Henry David Thoreau, civil disobedience, so there's solutions that aren't shoot me in the fucking face. There's creative ones to outfox them using a base of people who want to say, fuck you to the governor. 10 grand's nothing. They make that in the goddamn fucking highway system probably every 45 seconds, right? Going through every stop in Jersey. So there's power in people, and you can put your money where it is and keep open. Every day you can do that is a big fuck you to the system and not bowing down to their fucking, you will do this because I'm the king. You won't shoot the king's deer. You have to get bread when we say it. You can only wipe your ass with 4 squares of toilet paper because we said so. Give us your change. Change is worthless now. Give it to us. Oh, okay, motherfuckers. We'll see. And who's going to do it, Stevie? You?
This answer is kind of probably just not, it's a off the topic or off the center of the target answer, but this thing of in-person gym stuff, I was over that model a long time ago. My personal opinion of the business model. That's why I started Stevie Richards Fitness. I could reach many more people with lower overhead. So I'm just talking about a balance sheet type thing. Gyms are notoriously hard to operate. The overhead is super high. Attila's gym in Wildwood is one of my favorite gyms. They have other locations, and this is the other location. If I were them, I would definitely keep it open, because there's no way this fucking guy legitimately in a legitimate election is going to get reelected in November or whenever the election is. As a matter of fact, they may impeach this guy or whatever whatever they're going to do to oust him from office, because businesses, I guarantee you, I know Tim Pool is one of the podcasters that I watch and listen to. Mm-hmm. He technically has a business, does the same thing we do, leave in Jersey. I know other people that have businesses in Jersey. They're closed anyway. So why not just leave now? There's no help, no nothing. Jersey and New York are going to be dystopian paradises. I'm using that
California. They're leaving California in droves. Joe Rogan did a whole thing yesterday on it. Go ahead. Sorry.
Hey, he's going to Texas. So Texas, Florida, Arizona, even Georgia, where I live, isn't that bad. They're going to go to these more red states where they have the ability, and there's still people in the mayors and stuff and some of the governors like in Arizona that are kind of towing the line. They're going both sides. So you don't know one day to the next, are they going to allow businesses to do this? Or are they going to close it down? Nobody has a clue. All they're doing is trying to control everything. Now, New York and New Jersey, I don't know why anybody, even Philadelphia, where I'm from, at this point, why anybody would want to live there. Who had, like you said, people who have money and invest and want to do, they know we're getting the hell out. The people that are still there are the people that are struggling to make ends meet and can't afford to move. Do you agree with that? That's the only reason people are staying there.
Well, that's the prison planet aspect of it, right? We'll lock you down, take everything away from you, make you completely dependent, and then give you the rations as we see fit based off of fear in a control model. Wow, KMJ here with the big ones. I wish you and Stevie opened a wrestling school with Rip Rogers, since you guys are so smart, bro. You guys could put WWE and are out of business, right? With your great creative. Love your insight. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for the support.
Fucking ain't doing that ECW fucking bullshit. Fuck that fucking wrong hair motherfucker. That's what he said when he first met me in OVW. Taking that fucking ECW bullshit. I go, dude, I'm a fucking comedy act. That's why was my answer. What are you talking about?
I don't give a fuck. I don't like that fucking shit. You're gonna fucking do one super kick and you're gonna knock motherfucker out. Then you're gonna fucking go over. But goddamn, bend over. Let me see them short. But
it went more like he was like he cursed me out about being in ECW and all this shit. I go, I don't do that. I'm a comedy guy. Yeah, fucking, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I go, have you ever watched anything? No, I haven't seen a fucking thing. And I was like,
yeah, that makes sense. That's the best. You can check out a great interview from the Monday Locker Room with the hustler, Rip Rogers, my mentor. And why don't I open a Fed, or why don't I open a school? Because I don't feel like losing $150,000 in the first year.
I know a guy in Jacksonville that might be able to help.
He might hook it up. I know a guy in Syracuse who might come back and stomp everybody's fucking face into the ground. So we'll see how it goes, man. It's all about timing. I appreciate that. And why open a school when you're getting a grade A education right here on the Friday Locker Room? So if you're enjoying it, you can always PayPal Stevie Richards Fitness, right? And at gmail.com, or
my PayPal's T4 show at Gmail.
Oh, T4 show at Gmail.
For your $5 face compliment.
I will put it over. I edited Horseman last night, and I had Bombs Over Baghdad as the intro song. And then right after I output it, I fucking kicked my feet up. Hans, I believe it was Hans. Yeah, it sends $5. He goes, hey, can I sponsor the opening song, Explosive by Dr. Dre off the 2001 Chronic album? I was like, fucker. So I got up this morning and did it. So Hans with the $5 face slap last night on the hacker, and Dr. Dre is your opening music tomorrow for Conspiracy Horseman. But I like that. I like that. I was going to say, too, just to bury some of my friends, we're talking the mass exodus and shit. Excuse me. Sorry.
I'll let them know I'm using, what I'm using is the Elgato Camlink 4K, and I have a Sony A6500, which turns the Camlink 4K turns any camera. If you have a camcorder, DSLR, turns it into a webcam. So that's why.
Awesome.
It really makes a huge difference. And little thing that I did yesterday with the streaming and recording the video games off Switcher Studio on my iPad was kind of cool. And a little Easter egg on that was they advertise it as any iOS device to use as a camera. Well, with the Cam Link connected to the iMac, I can use it. So now I had a super clear DSLR main camera using it. So I can sit here and use Switcher Studio like a real TV broadcast or a radio show or whatever. And now the camera's even better, and I can use the iPhones as the secondary cameras. So it was a nice little setup. I mean, nobody really watched it or cared about it, but my little mad scientist mind likes those little, kind of like those little hidden use cases. I like that stuff.
Well, Andreessen says on the P900, he donated 2 bills on that, all crowdsourced. And that's one thing that is just so humbling and awesome from all you guys who, when you're cheering bits or doing what you can or just showing appreciation by going way out of the way, man, sending me a bottle or buying masks, whatever it is you guys do, because you know it's a free platform. It's your platform. And we don't ever ask or demand you to do anything along those lines. And people who are Russo brand subscribers and Patreon subscribers there too for Master Shoot, we're trying to provide you, and we know you appreciate it every day, with just something better than everything that's out there with not so limited resources. We upgrade as much as we can and reinvest in everything we do to make sure we keep growing at a pace that serves our growing following. And our mission statement really is
y'all are you pussy, y'all are you piece of crap, y'all are you moron. You think you can laugh me off and get away with it? Expect my reply on Sunday, you piece of crap, you fat shit, you moron, you infidel.
So, I mean, that's what we're going to stick to all the way to 2022.
I want to answer 2 questions because people are asking about the P900. By the way, use that as one of the camera angles when I do the workout. So coming up when we do the beginner yoga series, that P900 is very, has been very integral in cameras and getting tight shots, all that stuff. People asked about the moon videos. A few of those were taken down. So I may have to start a separate channel, or even if it's something that we share with the people just here or in the Hamin media group as its own video. I didn't forget. I really do appreciate the people that have donated for that, for the Moon Fund. And we still take pictures. We still take video. But as far as uploading, I mean, tell about Tyler, Secure Team 10, that type of stuff. If you're shooting the skies, I didn't want my whole channel taken down for the moon stuff. So I wasn't forgetting or putting shelving the P900. It just, I mean, we're living in our weird time where they don't want you to shoot the skies or the moon or anything else.
And then to bat Tyler's thing, where he said he was being followed and all of that, and drugged and whatnot, and found in his car to get a DUI and a domestic dispute and all this weird shit. And now the channel's completely pulled from the top alien, UFO channel that was out there, man, and YouTube even putting them over. It's insane. And to go back about the Exodus, I've ranted plenty about my friends in Chicago who and New York and LA who are just virtue signaling, towing the line in hopes of getting on Saturday Night Live for 2 years, and now they're locked into it and they can't back out of it because they'll just look like belly blushed, marks who ran their mouth and outside of the industry. Now all these people from LA are leaving because LA's dead. Hollywood's exposed. I know a shit ton of actors, dude, who paid their dues in Chicago for 15, 20 years, made the move to LA because they saw their teammates getting signed on Silicon Valley, Veep, Drunk History, Netflix stuff, and they're like, well, now he's doing it, I'm going. But then it's a slow process for them. Like maybe they got out there at the right time and used their connections. And it's not that the people who went out there aren't as funny. They're just as funny and as great players, but now nothing's shooting. Now they have no skills to go to a day job. They went out there to do it. And I'm talking people who are in their late 40s, early 50s with kids and shit who already sacrificed it once to go to Chicago. Now they're stuck, just like you said, in massively high rents. And what are they going to do? Move back to Chicago? To do what? There's no theaters open. There's no fucking place for them to perform. And they're just stuck there. Now I see these posts coming out, especially from the younger ones. My depression is just taking over me in this tough time. And I'm leaving the city. I'm moving home with my parents, 24, 28 years old, which I understand they've crushed them. I'm not trying to ha and rub it in their face, but it all comes under the guise of the new age. Oh, this has just gotten me to the point of when they put themselves there 100%. And then the next post, who wants my spot in a 3-bedroom, the lease till November? It's share with 3 roommates, a 2-bedroom. So you've got 4 people in a 2-bedroom. They want 860 plus utilities a month in New York City. So that's a $3,500 rent for a 2-bedroom for some actors who have no place to act, who have no restaurants to go to fucking make their money as waiters and waitresses, who if they were corporate, the corporate structure's shut down and it's fucked completely. I could name almost 100 people from age 50 to 24, 24 to 50, who are stuck in this dream with no marketable skills, no market. And the fact that they have tons of talent, but have no idea how to monetize it like we're doing right now, or the incentive to do it. And they just want to stay posting memes every day about, and here's the thing, like they told the SJW line. I saw 2 of them yesterday. They took like the hardest ones, you know, one is a trans person transitioning, and the other is just a hardcore actor, improviser, who was towing the fuck you line of everything conservative or anything that was truth seeking. Yesterday, they're posting memes about Cuomo that are anti-Cuomo and fuck him too. So their whole side is fucked, bro, and they know it. And now the drain is circling and swirling, and they're about to go down in it. And because of their own fucking ignorance the whole time, the last 3 years, trying to be divisive. I told you about my best friend in Chicago I lived with, came through college with. He won't respond, doesn't talk, doesn't like anything. I tag him on stuff, just not need well to needle it, but it's like, dude, come back to the fucking reality. But they're just doubling, tripling down on the fucking stupid and the hurt, bro. It kills me, but it's exactly it's happening. We saw this 2 years ago, and here we are.
You got to be ahead of the curve. You got to be, how can I put this? I don't want to sound like one of those guys that do the thing on the sponsored Facebook ads or anything, but you have to be fluid in this. You have to be ahead of the curve. You have to be, even at the risk of people not understanding, even at the risk of people kind of marginalizing you. Or I go back to the Russo thing. When Russo started doing what no one else was doing by telling the truth about the product and telling from his experience, and we joined him with the Raw SmackDown review, people marginalized all 3 of us. I had people that won't talk to me to this day because
I didn't have shit to lose. You guys were the ones.
I don't care about losing it, because what I was doing was pleasing people or trying to toe the line with people that didn't give a fuck about me or my future anyway. Mm-hmm. And even when we started doing Master Shoot and making fun of it, I'm sure there are people that got really, really mad. Like, you can't say that because that's our role models and our heroes we put up on the pedestal. Those are good people or better people because they have bigger pushes than you. You're just bitter. And now it's turned around because we stayed the course how we always believed.
Sure.
And now it stands out because everybody's still trying to get a job and get the call. And even the Bischoff and the Bruce for the longest time wouldn't say anything bad. It paid off for one of them temporarily. It didn't pay off for the other. No, I'm just saying, like, that's the stuff that even in entertainment, people, what are you towing the line for? You're trying to placate to a culture in Hollywood, which is now getting exposed more every day for just how, and everybody thought Mel Gibson was crazy and Mel Gibson was this or that, or Isaac Cappy, even Corey Feldman, who tried to play the Hollywood game to profit off it, but he was telling the truth back in '93.
Sure.
And nobody would listen to him. So these are the people that you want to, like, wait for the call from. These are the people that you want. You think, oh, well, they're going to fuck over this person, and eventually this person is going to get chewed up and spit out. But I'm different because they like me. Wrestling and improv and comedy and movies and TV is all the same. We're all meat puppets. And you and I, with Vince and even with Sal and Papa on, decided we wanted to be more than meat puppets. Then we have guys like Angel, who has a very, I do tell everybody, please listen to that podcast. If you like true crime drama, if you like Dateline NBC stuff, 2020 type stuff, you got all 3 of them are cops, right?
Yeah. Well, two out of 3.
So at least you got a panel of former police officers or former and current that are talking about the wrestling business and some of the tragedies, whether criminal or civil or any mix of both. And
they're going to
look at
the horseman lens of a worker looking at a situation at the same time.
Yeah. So this type of stuff that they're in that bubble. There's an improv bubble, just like there's a wrestling bubble, right?
Yeah. Oh, big time. You go and pay. It's identical. You go to where the Masters are, Chicago or New York. You pay your ass off for a year and a half to train. You work all the shitty small shows with other green improvisers. You're not making any money, possibly paying to play there too. Out getting hammered, having the time of your life, playing 3 or 4 theaters a night. And then maybe year 4 or 5, you actually are maybe starting to make a little money at it. Nothing serious, like, you know, 20, 30 bucks a show. And then you'll get the spot at Second City audition. And then maybe you're making 500 a week, which isn't really shit in the city. You know what I mean? Compared to the jobs that you're leaving. Like, you might be working downtown with people's master's degrees, leave a fucking $60,000 job to go work at Second City for 28,000 and work on the ships or whatever for 20 grand and fucking be out at sea, because they know that's paying the dues. They get you the audition to maybe get to Saturday Night Live and be one of the chosen ones. And fucking then you're working your ass off, you know, getting famous, and you can have the movie deal. But that's the whole. To do that all the way up, you also have to sacrifice anything that you thought, any free thought where you would be against the herd. If you don't fucking toe whatever the improv social justice warrior line is, you're fucked. Your chances are fucked in doing that. And that process I just explained to you is some people, it's now a 2-year process because they want just young people who have no experience. But like I said, there's 20-year people who went to fucking LA and they are screwed right now in their late 40s, early 50s with no prospects to be able to come back to either city or get over in either one. And they did it all at the expense of their own self. And now that reality is really setting in on them, bro. It's fucked to see.
Everybody has an opportunity right now. There's no reason to not. And it sucks because everything's the boys in the business too, and the girls, they have more of an opportunity. They have a social following. They have a lot of stuff going on. And dare I say it, they're kind of wasting it by becoming video game streamers, even though right now you might get 10 grand a month or whatever. That's going to run out. What are you doing to build a lasting business model? What are you doing? What are the Rusevs or the Pages or any of these other people doing except just goofing off? And the false positive of actually getting money every month right now isn't going to help them when it dries up.
Yeah, because they're not set up to be like, I have more to offer than just sitting in my fucking bra telling people subscribe and cheer bits. But I saw a subscriber earlier on. Appreciate you. I did upload some new badges. So I was a 3-month one. So hopefully you got some new little bling there here at twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman. Also appreciate you guys watching on YouTube. Hot and heavy, you guys.
For a while, didn't we?
Oh, good, man. It's all good. It's strong style stuff. That's what we do in the locker room. Fuck headlines. We're here to talk how we would in the locker room, man. That's the insight. I was glad to see Strangler Steve back on the Wednesday locker room. An awesome show this week. He was going off. Some great Strangler Steve rants on there, along with the Andrew Bello and also Billy Ray Valentine running in about halfway through the show. So glad to see those guys reunite at full strength, man. And I've been hitting Strangler Steve up all week long, back and forth with plenty of the stuff I've been sending you guys in Horseman Chat is forwarded right to from him. So he's doing awesome research for us all the time, man. But good rants all the way around, from Rip Rogers to Strangler Steve King to the hacker and Big Stevie Cool this morning, you guys. So awesome locker rooms all the way around. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Share it if you can, and participating in that Hamin media discussion group. I see you guys in there too. So y'all, Stevie, backstage news on why WWE TV tapings changed on Tuesday. There was a schedule change made Tuesday at SmackDown for the Performance Center, according to Meltzer Seltzer. The changes were reportedly brought on by issues regarding the organization. WWE taped just one episode of SmackDown instead of 2, and that one episode will air this Friday on Fox. To make up for the change, the schedule Monday, August 17th taping for Raw has been moved to Thursday, August 13th. WWE will now tape Friday, August 14th, the SmackDown show, and August 17th Raw show on August 13th as well. So they're going to, wear them out. I mean, the ding-dongs are going to be all over the show. The August 13th taping will take place one day after NXT As a result, many of the people involved will have to stay in Orlando for an extra day. WWE still needs to add a taping date for the Friday, August 21st SmackDown date that originally was scheduled to be taped on the 17th. WWE taped weeks of Raw and August 10th this past Monday, and the situation backstage was said to be more chaotic than usual due to constant changes. I'm going to changes. Stevie, I hate to say a toe-to-so, but a toe-to-so.
More chaotic than what we've heard. Oh my God, are people literally running around on fire?
Yeah, I was just thinking lighting themselves on fire like Vietnamese in the street, like, or Chinese. What the fuck is going on, man? What is going on?
Well, Russo put over the effort they were making, but there's effort without planning is chaos, right? Fail to plan to fail. Use anything you want. If you don't set the table like this Raw Underground thing, like this Antifa angle, what are you in the rush to hotshot these angles for? Why are you not doing like vignettes? Why are you not just shooting stuff? Well, you know the girls will pull 30, 40, 50 minutes and think you're doing them a favor. So have them wrestle their long matches and produce your vignettes for 2, 3, 4 weeks to build it up. I don't understand why you make more money than you've ever made before and you invest less in getting over to get the return on the money that you made, that you can make more.
I have no idea either why, and maybe it's order out of chaos. They want to make it so chaotic. They're hoping order will come out of it.
So they're hoping a new world order, the real new world order, will actually take over the promotion and buy it. Oh, wait for the Rothschilds to buy this fucking thing,
dude.
Oh my God,
dude! Everybody love
this camera just is not. Nobody wants to even talk about the wrestling.
No, it's all about Stevie's sexiness in the Twitch chat room because his camera is so. I mean, so perfect at 8,000K that it's like he's sitting right in your living room and it's a Hallmark Channel movie of your own. So snuggle.
I'm not even using makeup or any of the other stuff that might get on Pat Buck's shirt.
Oh shit, and we'll get to that too here in just a little bit as we go down the chain. But appreciate you guys tuning in, man, and putting over. There's nothing Stevie likes more. Sure, he knows he's cute, he thinks he's sexy, he's got the looks that drive the girls wild, but there's nothing that really gets him excited, pal, when you start doing tech talk. Give me some goddamn tech talk. That's what I want, pal. Let's see. And I actually
wonder if they like the microphone, the new microphone.
Oh shit. I was gonna vamp here for a second. Yeah, the new microphone is from Rhodes, right? Is that we got?
Rode, yeah, the Rode Pod mic. I'll take the windscreen off. It looks like a mini Electro Voice RE20. So this is without the pop filter, which sounds pretty good. I don't think it's too bad with the plosives or anything like that, but sometimes it can hit. $99 microphone. Rode has been excellent to you, myself, Vince, with the Rode. We all have Rodecaster Pros now. I initially bought one. Vince bought his, but then they sent him a couple pod mics. They sent him mic scissor arms, so he wasn't doing that. Also, they sent me a couple of these Rode Wireless Go's here for wireless lav mics, and they're sending me the headset so that way I can do the yoga videos and other workout videos shirtless with the 4K camera. So hopefully I got it from the bowling alley with Marty Janetty will buy the yoga programs just because of that.
Right on.
Windscreen on or off? Do you like it on still?
I think on. It just it really. I mean, it's not bad.
It just provides a more neutral, flatter sound without the pops, right, and the semblance.
Right. It just takes just a little bit out of it and really, cleans it up. Just not that it was muddied before by any means.
No, it gets a little. Not modulated, but the frequency comes in a little strong, and this muffles it a little bit and flattens it out. So this is the stuff, and the big picture stuff. Everybody out there has a passion. Everybody out there has something they're interested in. You said this about everybody. What we're going to do on Patreon. Everybody's got something that you can at least attempt to monetize without it being torturous, and that's what we tell these. When I put out the video about the released WWE people, it's amazing. And once again, I say it. it's amazing that I directed it. I directed it for, or not directed it for, directed it towards those people that I knew that got released. Do you know that I'm so proud that everybody who wasn't a wrestler reached out to me and got inspired and asked questions, and nobody from WWE reached out to me. And that's great, because 20 people that didn't, whoever came to me with help or asking or little bits and pieces, it was at least 20 people, and they were like really happy about, the fact that I answered them and gave them free information about what I do and everything. So I just want to put that out there. Like, we all thought we were over at one time. We still sometimes get that little ego, like, hey, we're over. And then we look at something like a Joe Rogan and say, we ain't fucking over. We got to keep pushing, right?
Right. Got to, man, because I'd love to get that Joe Rogan $100 million deal a decade from now and be done, be out, just be out. Thank you. It was worth the 40-year build to get to this point.
And we are enjoying the journey. We actually are enjoying the journey.
Loving it. And I want to talk about the journey on the ride home. We got a new sponsor from Podcorn, and this is their mid-roll read. I'm having Ray do another whole new commercial segment for our sponsors. That'll be coming up probably in next week's cast. But for podcorn.com, they actually I went on there just because I haven't had time. There was a lot of podcasters who are looking to collaborate, and they wanted pre-roll and mid-roll ads. I usually cut for affiliates and people trying to get noticed are price in half of what I usually do for a major corporation or somebody bigger that is going to buy a month. But I try and give them the same coverage because I'm all about the rising tide raising all ships. So they subscribe with us. I think, Steve, you're going to like it. It's called Tech Memes, The Ride Home, a podcast you should immediately subscribe to. It says, today we're introducing the podcast, Tech Memes first ever. It's called Tech Meme Ride Home, published around 5 p.m. Eastern on Monday through Friday. In each episode, a host, Brian McCullough, runs through today's biggest tech stories, 15 to 20 minutes. So pretty ingestible, if you're in between Hamin Media Group stuff, Tech Meme Ride Home. So what's the concept? It says you might say Tech Meme is in podcast form. So they quickly relate to the top stories. They mention publications they're drawing from, so you can follow up on it. And then they'll capture the commentary around the news. And yes, they will even read selected tweets. So you can hit them up, Tech Meme Ride Home. Said, why should you listen to Tech Meme Ride Home? Well, several great tech podcasts discuss the story of the week and go deep into perennial topics like Apple or focus on interviews. But they need podcasts to relate to the daily developments of industry relentlessly expanding in size, which it is all the time, and importance, especially when it comes to Zoom, StreamYard, other platforms, Twitch. There's a new one, Cinnamon. We were going to talk about Patreon being sued possibly as well, and how that's going to affect us. So I'm sure Tech Meme's on it on the ride home. And even if you're an active Tech Meme reader, the hosts focus on new angles and internet commentary makes for an additive experience of the news that you're already seeing. So please, guys, check them out and let them know that Hamin Media Group sent you, Hacker Hamin sent you, and that you appreciate them being a sponsor for the next month of Hamin Media Group. That's Tech Memes Ride Home podcast. Good mini content. And Stevie, I'm anxious to have you check it out when you're in the sauna and get your opinion on it, man. And maybe we can help them, and who knows where this relationship could go. So thanks to Tech Meme Ride Home.
Yeah, the thing that piques my interest right now is Tuesday, August 4th, the last hurrah iMacs get a major update. And I bought a 2019 8-core iMac, and I'd love to actually be on that podcast and tell them why I bought the 2019 iMac and didn't wait for the refresh. The number one reason being is we're talking about control, lockdown, not be able to really own what you own. And that's something I hate about what Apple does with the T2 chips, the soldered on SSDs, the soldered RAM. I got this because it doesn't have that T2 chip. So if the SSD ever goes inside this iMac, as much of a pain in the ass it is to open it up, I can put a new SSD in it. So with the T2 chip, you can only put the same exact Apple SSD, which guess what? You have to take it to the Apple store, pay, if it's not under warranty, pay like $1,000, pay enough money to where you're just going to be like, I'm just going to buy a new iMac. And that's the business model they have. That's why they're $1 trillion company.
Cars almost at this point, dude.
Yeah. the way the cars too. I have a 2006 Honda Accord that, knock on wood, is still running at 140,000 miles. If I bought a brand new one, I doubt it would last 100. So,
well, what'll happen is you'll get rust in places and what you wouldn't have before. Well, maybe not in Atlanta, but like
structurally, right?
Yeah. Like they're just not, they're built to be thrown away, but the price doesn't come down. Price goes up and it's fucking less functional. So it's a complete cock over. So again, guys, I definitely want to hook you up with them. I don't know if I name dropped you in that one, but I said we do a lot of tech reviews and we've worked with them. And I think that could be a very, very cool, who knows? You always make the most of every open door in relationship. So I got no problem with, seeing where that could go with you, man, but appreciate those guys. Y'all, I see the chat's pretty full, 41 strong here. People putting over how much they're enjoying all the shows at hackerhamin.podbean.com and haminmediagroup.podbean.com. And you guys are getting the official right here at twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman or on my YouTube. Back to it, Stevie. I'm sorry. Jay Kimball leaves UFC for a new job at WWE headquarters. James Kimball's reportedly leaving UFC for WWE, according to Mark Raimondi of ESPN. Kimball's been working as the head of operations for UFC Performance Institute, which has locations in Vegas, Nevada, Shanghai, and China. He will now take a senior business operations role at WWE, working out WWE HQ in Stanford. Dr. Duncan French is taking over Kimball's former job at UFC Performance Institute. And as noted earlier at this link, WWE has named Nick Khan as their new president and chief financial officer. He will report directly to WWE chairman and CEO Vince McMahon. Do you think, goddamn, Nick Khan, do you think it's Tony Khan dressed up and just as a new moniker and he's actually working for both companies now?
I think Vince really thought he was hiring Tony Khan to shut down AEW.
He thought he was getting him.
Got him.
Get me Khan, goddammit. I'm going to buy out your contract. I'll show you a contract.
So is this this guy just ran the business, day-to-day business of the Performance Institute? He wasn't a trainer there or any kind of sports guy.
I'm not sure. You know who I mean, I don't know if he's a big money guy or what it takes to run those, but dude, you got to believe that John Hartnett would be a great dude to do that, as he's the manager of American Top Team, which is not a small facility or a small job whatsoever when you've got, to keep the whole thing going. If he could do it there for X amount of years, he's kind of proven, as far as that goes. I think a big part of this, though, is the international aspect of it. That's pretty impressive. And I know if he's already got the business links in China, India, wherever, Abu Dhabi, Vince would want that. That's worth its weight alone for international deals and getting somebody who's already experienced and getting it done.
Well, it's just a weird move because I think UFC is more solvent right now and stable than WWE moving the stand. I mean, is this another Eric Bischoff moving from Wyoming to Stanford, and then 6 months later, it's just like, or 3 months, it's like, whether this guy says, I mean, we have a guy who Vince talked about who was a writer there for 3 years, and everything we talked about was true. Like, people think we're ribbon, like it doesn't really happen. And even the Master Shoot stuff is almost right on target with what happened.
The most truthful shit, which is the best,
So I don't know. This guy, if he's coming from UFC, unless Dana White runs it like chaotically, like Vince would run his operations, I don't know. Maybe he got a ton of money and a ton of guarantees, and even if he gets fired, he gets severance. I mean, it could be a bunch of stuff. And that would be, I think Vince is more of a mark for because he's from UFC or from Hollywood, little writers or whatever. He's a mark for that, and he'll pay. So the Bischoff's in AEW. You called
last night he was moderating a debate between Jericho and Orange Cassidy, the Mute. Okay. The reality is he's probably already signed a TNT, which I believe, as a consultant, and that's the smart move. I mean, of course, Bischoff is very savvy. There's no doubt about it. Who else is savvy is Stevie Richards and his website, righttocensor.com. bucking for a job at AEW, if you go to righttocensor.com right now, it will take you directly to the AEW website. So good on you, Stevie, getting that done, man.
My website squatting, tendencies over the past 20 years are finally going to pay off. I really wish I did squat. I thought about that about 5 years ago, squatting on that website because it was available all this time.
Mm-hmm.
This is trolling. I think this is trolling by Cody and Khan towards Vince. I don't know why righttocensor.com. I don't know why not like looking at the current stars and trying to see if you can get .coms for whoever, even this new group. If you just basically take that way, if they start doing a trend of rawunderground.com, of this other stuff, and it all redirects you to AEW, then when people search Raw Underground, AEW will be at the top of the searches. I mean, it's a smart idea for 10.
Sure.
Hey, whatever bullshit.com, McAfee couldn't even wait to fucking take that. Whatever bullshit.com.
Yeah. It's fucking A, man. Awesome shit all the way around. And Khan's an analytics guy. That could be his little plan, like a little wormy thing. Why not spend $1,000 to register the top 50, things in wrestling along those lines that are undone?
Well, I don't think Right to Censor's in the top 50. I mean,
well, here's the thing. Here's the Stooge report. After you blew off Impact, the word got back to AEW that you're AEW loyal. And now that you did that, I'm sure Right to Censor is going to be making its debut against the Dark Order soon enough.
Listen, I wish to God all the Stevie Richards or Dr. Stevie or Steven Richards return rumors, whereas I can't bullshit. You know what I mean? If I can play it into it's interesting enough, and it's nice to still be remembered.
I couldn't believe you were. I'm so shocked that you weren't at Slammiversary with Russo being on the secret writing staff of Impact. I thought you guys would have written that right in there.
Well, there's obviously, as you can tell every week, there's a lot of heat between Vince and I every week on Raw SmackDown. We have so much trouble getting along. I mean, it's just, and Vince is so selfish. He's not going to help anybody out.
And
He's not that kind of guy. Exactly. Homophobe and transphobe, all that stuff. I don't know, dude. I mean, what's the term for it? I am like the most and least talked about talent over the past 3 months. I can't even put like I'm the most and least hireable guy that's come around. I've always had that stigma, and no matter what, anyway, that it's just, this is another thing, just a big picture. We keep going back to the big picture and where we're at now. There was, look at a picture of Vince. My God.
I said it the other night. I am the best. You have to send me that picture at bin_Hamin. No, that's the sexy.
That's an emoji. That's an emoji. That's a cheer emoji.
Yes. Send me that at bin_. Stop what you're doing right now and send it to me.
That's the emoji if you cheer like one bit, like you're pissed off, like you're not happy. So what I'm looking at here is like wrestling and I never matched up. Like the personality I have, the type of person I am, how I was like it never matched up. I was excited to be on TV and be pushed or be somebody different or be a star, but I never got caught up with the fact that I was indeed permanently that person. I knew the fact that I was on the ups and downs, the lowest lows, the highest highs creatively. But there's always this thing like, and I heard this, Stevie's this, Stevie's this, Stevie's this, but no. Yeah, Stevie's all these things and this, and this, and 7, 8 things, but no. And you can kind of see that with the way I was pushed. Yeah. No. And that's kind of the way the game's played. But what I saw, and what I don't want to get back into, what I don't want to give up, because there have been other offers that have come through that said, give up everything you're doing and come here and just trust us this time. I know the first 3 times we fucked you over, but trust us this time. And I didn't do it because even if I'm not making the 6 figures and I'm only making 5 figures, we have the 100% freedom every morning to wake up and try to make the 5 figures in the 6 or try to keep the 5 figures where it's at. It's all on us. Nobody's going to come down and go, yeah, you edit this video, but try to keep it under 10 minutes. Oh, but today, no, don't do a video about flight simulators. Oh, no, don't create another program because 2's enough. Do you see what I mean?
Mhm.
Being in wrestling, I don't want to even be in the locker room and sit there and have somebody look at me and go, oh yeah, $15 band program. Somebody's really going to want to do that. I don't need that negativity in my life. I don't need the toxicity. I don't need the fucking good brother telling me that he's somehow fucking a better person than me just because he's getting pushed by a fake wrestling promotion. Do you see my thoughts on it? Now, would I want to go back and pass on?
Yala, you pussy.
Oh, sorry.
You're so incompetent. You're so retarded. You couldn't even play my clip on a Russo show. But I know why. Because your fingers are so goddamn fat. You just couldn't tap it. Clearly, you are jealous of Natalia in that picture. That's where you wish you was, under nice snacks, under all of her sweat. That's where you wish you was, you fat jabroni.
So that's positive and uplifting, Stevie.
Yeah. Oh, I think I am going to go back to wrestling now after hearing that.
AEW announces Cody Rhodes' next TNT championship challenger. It's Dancing Stevie Richards. No, it's Scorpio Sky, you guys. He's going to have the next opportunity to come on out there and put Cody over. So this week out of nowhere, it was Matt Cardona and Cody Rhodes versus two of the Dark Order guys. Shocker. Who do you think won, Stevie?
No matter what, I think it was a 20-minute match. Am I wrong?
Not that long, but long enough. And Dark Order already came out and worked in the opening 12-man get your shit in spectacular. So they're just overexposing them constantly. And like
Cody. Has Dark Order even gotten over yet in order to put anybody else over? No. And now you got Brody that's in the most forgettable spot ever because he has it's all gloss over around him, right? So how's he getting over?
He got the finish here with the big snabbits, but dude, no, it's not over at all. It's just filler because they don't have any heels built, so they're just using these guys as Viano 4 and 5 or whatever it is to be squash fodder. But before the bell even rings, you look in the ring, it's two guys in a mask who aren't over versus Zack Ryder and Cody Rhodes. Who do you think's going to win? Not hard to figure it out, man. Not at all. I'll come back to that one. That's a big story. Hiroshi Tanahashi tests negative for after COVID scare at recent TV tapings. The IWGP heavyweight champion Hiroshi Tanahashi, who's never beaten me in his career and probably never could or will. After the Ace recently came into contact with an individual who tested positive for COVID-19, but he is negative. So New Japan champ can still wrestle. WWE blows it once again and reveals the name of the mysterious faction that attacked the power generator on Raw. As previously reported, WWE began an angle on Monday Night Raw and saw the group of masked individuals dressed in black throwing Molotov cocktails at a generator that powers the Performance Center. Throughout the broadcast, the show experienced technical difficulties such as flickering lights, microphones cutting out, which commonly attributed to severe weather until footage of the generator attack will surface in hour 3. In a new article in WWE, the name of the group has been revealed. It's called Retribution. I was going with Just Us, but we're going with Retribution. Nothing more has been said about the group at this time, but we have a distinct feeling we'll find out more on next Monday Night Raw. What the fuck are you doing?
In other news, they put it out in public that WWE has copyrighted the trademark Retribution, which kills the fact that it's not a company. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God. This is a 74-year-old man naming a terrorist group, Retribution. Like, it's, oh my God. I say you put WWE creative on what happened in Beirut. They'll get the names of these people within a day or two.
Have it leaked, figured out what's going on, dude. what the fuck? Why are they so incompetent that a secret faction of Antifa terrorists are now through WWE.com? We found out they're called retribution, a wrestling term for after you get heat on the baby face. But when he fires up, yeah, what's he do? He fires back and he gets retribution. That's what we're going to do against you, AEW. Yeah, pal. If you really want to do something, have them go over to AEW and throw Molotov cocktails at their fucking bank, and maybe the lights will flicker.
Well, let's go through history of factions that have tried to usurp the ruling power in WWE, right. The higher power. If you're
DX.
No. I'm talking about heel wise. DX was entertaining, and that was a different time. They were allowed to get over. WCW, after it was bought, the Invasion. Mm-hmm. Then it became the Alliance. Ended up everybody getting jobbed out. Eventually, anybody that has anything to do outside of WWE in real life or in storyline is going to get jobbed out. After that, Nexus, jobbed out. The only people that went over were NXT at Survivor Series, and they were forgotten about anyway and jobbed out when they eventually got up to the main roster. So how do you think, unless you put some real heat and this Retribution group really does take over control of the company, which storyline-wise, that could be the whole new direction for WWE. I think excuse for it. You see what I mean? Like a new Vince isn't in charge anymore. We're in charge, and you start changing the look of the show. Now, Retribution, I bet you I know who's going to be the head of Retribution.
Who? That's what I was going to ask.
Hunter.
From the inside, you think it'll be Triple H?
They're thinking they're bang, bang shooting, but it's it's McMahon versus McMahon. Stephanie and Hunter will be the leaders because, everybody at the top is always like, there was a mole inside. It was me all along. But does that make sense? You could actually make a star out of a nobody who's a leader. You can make this Aleister Black. You can make this anybody, but it'll end up being, in their mind, the smart choice of family, because family will never leave, will never get fired, will never do anything to kind of upset the apple cart creatively. It's going to be Hunter. It's going to be Hunter, and it might be Shane. It's going to be a McMahon. I hope it's Linda, and she just sits there and goes, and that WrestleMania music plays. I love it. Entrance music. Do you agree with or disagree with anything I'm saying?
I agree fully, because I was wondering who could you get over. My only thing would be, let's bring back Sami Callihan while he's fulfilled his dates. He's not under contract, maybe. I don't know. This is all hypothetical.
But he's not a star. He's not a star in their mind. He's not. How can you be a star? How can you, if you're trying to make a star, you're not a star yet on the TV show. That's what they don't get.
No underground Retribution Antifa is going to be made of stars. It's going to be made of disgruntled people who should have been and should have come back. I would take Sammy and X amount of others who have been future endeavored and fucking put them in there, and even keep them under a per contract basis so they're not contracted, you know what I mean? So it doesn't get out that they've signed a new deal, and it's for that. And like that, now that's hip, and like, okay, this is interesting. They're not underneath the thumb. They can go anytime they want, and this seems hot, but no, it'll be, it was me, Austin. It was me all along.
No,
maybe what if it is Vince out there? He hates NXT and Triple H so much that he's out there throwing fucking Molotovs.
He doesn't realize it's its own show.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, they'll ruin it. Even if it is a Sami Callihan or somebody that was like, oh, that's interesting. You know what they're going to do? Sami Callihan signs 3-year contract. Here's some comments for WWE.com and talk about how blessed you are and everything, and completely kill the whole thing.
Sami Callihan, Kyrie Singh. Who else would you put back in there?
You know what? If Zack Ryder's not under contract, if Brian Myers is under contract, bring him back.
Majors will be good in there for sure. Absolutely.
Majors will be good. Sarah Logan for a short time.
Too pregnant to be throwing Molotov cocktails.
Have you seen some of these people protesting? Do you think they probably have babies holding a fucking sign? Who else?
Actually, if you were really going to go with it, dude, play into the pregnancy thing with like anti-abortion, like my child, my choice, like fucking things like that. Like she's got a fucking real beef in America of like, you know, for women, like these panels of dudes who decide on women's rights, 15 dudes deciding on women's rights. That she was all a crusty old fucking 60-year-old white men, you know, who are probably on some list for pedophilia in Epstein Island.
Here's the thing, that it would have to be Sammy, because Sammy's the only one that seems like he can cut a non-wrestling promo. Plus, you're going to have to bleep the guy if you really tell him to speak the way he wants to speak. That's what needs to happen too. Whoever's cutting the promo and the leader, they got to curse. They got to talk. They can't do wrestling pauses like they're in the ring. They can never be in the ring as far as cutting a promo. Because now it's like, and you can't say unsanctioned actions. You can't do it.
Forgotten Sons would fit in there too. Even
if it's all the Forgotten Sons, that would make sense. But they cut a wrestling style promo. They can't do that. They got to just talk. They can't be scripted.
Even the fact that they called it Retribution, and we know within 4 or 5 days, this is a WWE group called Retribution. Like, dude, you couldn't even stretch it out for 2 or 3 weeks. Who are these fuckers, and why do they keep fucking with the show? And they do a kidnapping and they do a fucking whatever, and the police actually have to get called in to make them disperse. And you know what I mean? Somebody gets tasered and arrested and they get fucking interrogated. Tell us who the other ones are. Fuck you, I'm not telling. Then you're going to jail. You're out of here, motherfucker. Well, so be it. Next week they come back. That person didn't stooge. They try and catch another one. All this kind of shit, dude. Like, that's 5 weeks of TV. Instead, guess who's making their debut in a 10-man against the Ninjas next week? Yeah, it's Retribution. Yeah.
No thanks.
But ratings are up to a 1.7 thanks to Raw Underground, which they blew out their ass as well. Austin Theory reportedly suspended by WWE, so maybe he'd be in that group. It's a suspension of sorts, still being investigated for whatever the Me Too movement shit is, and maybe just an easy get out of jail free card because they didn't see money on him because he's a factory produced dude at this point. Also suspended, Nia Jax suspended indefinitely without pay after attacking Pat Buck. Things have gone from bad to worse for Nia this week as she was suspended indefinitely without pay following her attack on Platinum Pat Buck. Last week, Nia Jax attacked several WWE officials, including the hitmaker Pat Buck, which led to her being fined by the company. However, this week she was back in the ring with Buzzkill Pat Buck, and we are expected to issue an apology to those actions. However, Nia had other plans and actually challenged Bad Luck Pat Buck to a fight, mocking his wrestling career and his hair color, but then suspended Jax, which led to her once again reacting in an aggressive, hangry manner as she ripped his jacket, headbutted him, and put makeup on his shirt, clearly not taking it well. Where do you go with Nia Jax versus Pat Buck, dude?
Something tells me this wasn't the official copy, and you might have ad-libbed a part or two here and there.
No, dude, Pat Buck has had so many different gimmicks, that he switched it up plenty of times. Hitmaker is really one. The anti-American Pat Buck, Platinum Pat Buck. What was the other? Buzzkill is a real one as well.
Yeah. Wait, why didn't he ever think of Zero Fucks Pat Buck?
Zero Fucks Pat Buck.
Yeah,
in the
he
locker.
does care too much.
Damon used to really call him Bad Luck Pat Buck. That one fucking pop because all his boys would get signed. You know, like, oh, bad luck for Pat Buck. I was like, oh shit. But
maybe I'll try to run that right up the commentary ladder and see if they'll be like every week he's getting beat up. Bad Luck Pat Buck could probably be his name. I gotta tell Terry Taylor or somebody about that. Where's it going? I don't know, but do you think he went out and bought like one of those expensive Hummers or Cadillac Escalades because now he's on TV?
Maybe. I know his Instagram blows up and pretty quickly right after he gets knocked out on camera, which is interesting.
So I wonder if he's going to be a full-time talent now, or if it's like one of these things, or maybe they're just short-staffed and they're going to do it. This makes no sense. She's suspended without pay by a guy who's just an agent who does it. And how are you going to pay it off? This is the thing. You're looking at the retribution people. You're looking at the other stuff. You're looking at everything on this show. Why is nobody asking, where's this end up? Let's work backwards. How's this going to pay off? Or you just going week to week for shock value and like, just forget about it next week. Or did they just try to take her off TV and put her back in NXT like they said?
I want to see it lead to a romance thing between Pat, but that's how I would write it. Like it's going to end up being, they start hating each other and they have to end up in love. Because the only other way is that Buck goes get the woman to fight her, but I want to see Buck versus Nia Jax. He could work that awesomely. I think it would be fucking believable and fucking good and possibly funny and get them both over. And Buck wants nothing more in life than to be on camera in WWE. That's what he's been working his ass off for. Buck has put in his fucking time. Let's make no mistake about it. And done dirt and had plenty said about him, but guess who's on TV getting headbutted by Nia Jax? Would I like Buck to kayfabe a little more afterwards? Yeah, he likes to go and show that he was on TV. But he, like I said, that's guys working their ass off, and that's the era we live in now. And you can hear Rip shoot on that on the Monday. I want to see this turn into an angle because I'm tired of seeing her wrestle, try and say she's the best, hurt people, take bumps on the crash mats. Let's do character. Let's do something that way. You know what I mean? But it's fat on Pat violence like this that really has torn America apart. I agree.
Who knows, man? Who knows? I just this stuff doesn't make any sense. None of it. It's very unenjoyable. But at least GarageBand got their money out of Raw Underground with the GarageBand loop they were playing.
Finally. Yeah. I mean, we bury that hard on Russo brand, really go in on Raw Underground of just how they shotgun 12 weeks of business into the first week and ruined it right out of the gate. I also do a big heater monologue on it to follow up on the Impact Attack as well as we talk about that too. Good show, Impact Attack this week. Impact had a fair amount of misses and holes in it that could have been punched up creatively. This was a different show from not different. Wrestle House was good. There were some decent things, but the way it was booked hurt the show. So some good movements, but check it out. Impact doing well. They were up about 35% on their Twitch. They were up to about 4,400 from 2 months ago where they were about 2,600. So, that's got to be an increase they're happy with. Yeah.
What was the Wrestle House supposed to be like, the real world?
Yeah, it's real world meets it's an absurd premise, which I love. And they're setting these rules up, much like when I killed Deuce is a ghost. So they're playing inside of it, right? So the whole thing is that off of the Johnny Bravo and Rosemary love thing that was going on, she has put a spell on Tommy Dreamer's Airbnb, which is the real world house. They're using Dreamer's house in Nashville, Airbnb. And there's a ring out back. And when there's any heat, Dreamer just shows up and says, match time. And they go out and have a match.
Dreamer has an Airbnb in Nashville. He owns a home. That's
what the story is. I don't know if it is. It's a 6-bedroom thing they're renting, but
it's Dixie's house.
Could be. But Rosemary put a spell like how it is in Beetlejuice. So if you try and go outside, you're going to go into fiery hell. And they roll the footage of Abyss from, I think, your guys' match from that. He's just out there. Like anytime anybody opens the door, Abyss is outside in a burning hell. So they're using their B-roll to and the only way everybody's going to get to leave Wrestle House, all 12 people, is if Johnny Bravo bangs Rosemary and puts her over. But he's too scared because Taya Valkyrie, he's her stooge and he has to jump too, and he's not allowed to have any time of his own, and Rosemary's not going to let anybody leave until she's satisfied. But in between, all the little stories go on. Johnny Swinger got into it, and he had to wrestle Susie and Eddie Edwards' wife Alicia in a little comedy get over. And he's the smart one. He's got 2 hot married girls laying on him at the end. He didn't have to do shit. He gets his lines in and gets over. Has the funniest lines in the whole fucking thing. Bing, bang, boom, we're out, man. 3 segments. It was good. But the wrestling show itself was booked incorrectly with decent segments, but a lot of holes to be punched up. So me and Dr. Ted and MSG do that on the Impact Attack, and it was a fun show.
I'm watching some of it right now. It's shot well. You know what I mean? What they're doing, this at least is entertaining, and it's not wrestling, and gives them all personalities in one scene where they're doing different stuff. So I'll give it,
there's so many little ribs in there. You might want to go back and watch last week's where they put them all together, and this week's, man. There's a lot of funny little digs in there, and Swinger really hits it at the right moment and shines as always, dude. And everybody gets over. The Deaners, Susie, Kylie Ray, Taya Valkyrie, and Bravo. They all really shine. And so does Alicia Edwards, who doesn't get a chance to do a lot of that. She plays kind of the C player in a lot of scenes, and she's right there with that line when it needs to be there, dude. So really impressive by everybody who's been given their own little part of this. I don't think anybody's dropped the ball. There's things that could get punched up. I go in on the Kylie Ray Rosemary match, even though it's comedy. They do some shimmer shine shit she starts out wicked sweet headlock takeover, snaps it. It looks awesome. Locks it in on the ground, puts the bridge on, get into head scissors. She gets out of it and does I got your nose spot with Rosemary. They go right into the like we're going to get something. And then who got your nose? You're just like, okay, dude. Oh, it's not a Legends House ripoff, Adam. It's a rib on that. It's like Legends House is one of the best things WWE did, in my opinion. That was fucking phenomenal and got those guys back over. This is a takeoff on 90s stuff. It looks like Saved by the Bell, In Your House, and then Real World and Big Brother. It's all of those combined, and then each character has their own game that they play out: mythical, country, hick, ECW, legend, whatever it is. And when those worlds combine in a Venn diagram, the magic is in those little scenes where they interact, where they normally wouldn't be able to. That's why I really enjoy it. It's not really like they're trying to get them over. Like, here's Hillbilly Jim and Tony Atlas arguing over fucking protein shakes in the kitchen, and as themselves, not as their gimmicks. Everyone's playing a gimmick on this still, so it's a bit different.
Well, wrestling's all rip off of other things in wrestling and outside of wrestling. Nothing's original. This I would actually want to be a part of, just to be around Swinger and Dreamer and just have fun, take very minimal amount of bumps, and also can have fun with it. You don't have to be so serious. There are some callbacks here. This would be very interesting to do. So, and I if I could just work out with the bands with my T-shirt for 5 minutes and get some sales, I'm good with that.
I'll tell you, this is where you would fit in awesomely, and I think, regardless whether you show up to face Cody at AEW next week or the week after, you're doing something. I think you and Swinger would be phenomenal in doing gimmick stuff like this, just because Dreamer would know where to put you in things. Not like you wouldn't either, but like you'd be able to drop in a couple scenes and just really be the drive home punch on ratcheting up comedy scenes of how do we heighten and explore things. So hopefully they can get around.
Kind of fuck AEW over with that website, because I would wear the shirt and tie. Without sleeves this time, though.
Why not? Get it over and say, go to my website, righttocensor2.com. The number 2.
I'm suing you, Cody, you son of a bitch. So, yeah, it's interesting. And I think that here's a little fact, too. The Swinger isn't allowed to say Rizats anymore. It's offensive.
Yeah. Well, what was funny is he gets in the ring with the chicks, and he goes, working my gimmick, and da-da-da-da. And then somebody says something. He goes, don't worry, I can handle my gimmicks, which means they're talking about pills, and he can take pills like the old school way and handle them fine. And then he takes his shit off and hands it out. He goes, take that over to the gimmick table, brother. So like he gets gimmick over, rule of threes. And I popped huge on the third one. So he knows comedy at the high level of how to get the fucking bit over. And then even later when the girls are wrestling, Kylie Ray and Rosemary, she's got her in a head scissors to get her out before she does. Like her face is right in her crotch, and off camera he goes, I know how to get out of that one. Just the small things that really heighten a fucking scene. I was laughing my ass off, dude. And I know you could he's right in the pocket, and before it jumps the shark, you stacking on top of it, whether it's Daisy Duke, Stevie Richards, Right to Censor, or Stevie Richards Fitness Band, his personal trainer. would fucking it would kill. He's still the best thing on the show, hands down. He's the best thing on the show, and it could even go higher. There's no doubt about it.
We'll never do it, so let's stop right now.
I'm telling you, I'm putting it out there, man. Egos be damned. Buddy system be damned. Fucking have him call me, ask mommy, ask daddy. Fuck that. Let's do business. Impact. You're on a roll with something. There's things that can be punched up in every scene on every show. Sure, that's everybody, including my shit. But there's an opportunity to do something here, make it happen. And don't say, why won't he come? And this, that, and the other, because he's doing his own thing and he would be happy to do it if people would just step up and ask and do business in the right way. Don't
talk to this guy to talk to this guy to talk to this guy just to see if I will call you so you can ask me. No. I don't work that way anymore, dude. I'm sorry. I'm not being a dick. Am I wrong?
Not at all. And especially when we can do direct, great comedy, go in, punch it out. Everyone goes, yeah, that was awesome. And we don't have time to play all these other outside games. We're way too busy to do that. It's not us trying to, or me or Stevie trying to power play on anybody ever. Not like they're interested in me. I'm just saying it's not us power playing on people. It's just like, don't have time to do that. If you want to do good biz, happy to do it. But let's just forget all the other shit. Oh, we're not forgetting the other shit. Okay, back in our lane, back driving. We tried to make a pit stop quick to help some people.
I'm making a perfectly good living, not ever stepping in the ring right now.
Not that you wouldn't.
Thank God.
It was there, but yeah.
Yeah, thank God, right?
Right. Yeah, thank God. Thank God.
Do you want to just get to the story? Do you just want to get to the story? It's probably going to take some time.
We're at the last story of the day. Well, it's a double banger. If you don't know, now you know. Here it is. Wrestler Marty Janetty claims he made a man disappear as a teenager. I've made a couple men disappear inside of me, Bruce. Yeah, disappear in me. Professional wrestler Marty Janetty, best known for his runs in WWE in the late 80s and early 90s, may have confessed to murdering a man in his teenage years. Janetty published a post on his Facebook account Wednesday morning about an apparent falling out he had with a woman named Winnie. Things very rapidly took an unexpected twist when the former Intercontinental Champion claimed that he made a man who allegedly assaulted him behind a bowling alley disappear. Here's the full post, quote, "I've never told no one this, even my brother Gino, because Gino would have killed him, and I didn't want my brother gone. Hell, he'd only recently came home from Vietnam. I was 13, working at Victory Lane's bowling alley, buying weed from a fag that worked there. He had put his hands on me. He dragged me around to the back of the building. You already know what he was going to try and do. That was the very first time I made a man disappear. Then they never found him. They should have looked in the Chattahoochee River. But Winnie, the girl in these pics, there's like 3 pics with it. I like you so damn much, probably my favorite, but I promised myself way back then, nobody would ever hurt me again. That includes you. I loved you, but you hurt me with your fucking Jamaican jealousy. You can go your own way. I don't need you." So very strange and whatnot. That was probably around 6, 7 in the morning. It stayed up till about 10, was taken down. But it had already flooded the internet. And by 3 p.m. yesterday, I'm getting text, TMZ, all kinds of shit. Georgia police to investigate Marty Janetty after he claims he made a man disappear. The police department in Columbus, Georgia, will be investigating claims made by professional wrestler Marty Janetty, the former WWE superstar, most famous for his tag team, yada, 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 yada. The first step will be seeing if any missing or persons or unidentified remains cases that match the limited information in this post, Georgia police told TMZ on Wednesday. Janetty claimed that when he was 13 years old, I just read it, so that they should look at the Chattahoochee River where it gets hotter than a hoochie coochie. There is one more story that I'll go after this, but yada, yada. Yeah, dude.
It was over 40 years ago. He's in his 50s right now, right?
Probably got to be, right?
And that's not too far from me. You know, that the Chattahoochee River runs all the way over here.
Mm-hmm.
These are like 2 diametrically opposed statements. If you just put the girlfriend thing, like I'm breaking up with you.
Right. Does that mean he killed her too, or is she missing, or is she just leaving, or what's what, you know? Like,
wow, I don't know, man. That's very interesting. And also, I mean, there's no rhyme or reason for his erratic behavior over the years. I've been around him, nice enough guy, but very erratic behavior, whether influenced or not. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, maybe back if you said that 10 years ago in a shoot interview, like you're Billy Jack Haynes, because Billy Jack Haynes has never, like, Billy Jack Haynes gave a ton of details right now about the boys on the railroad and everything and how he was a part of it and no investigation. Very strange. But this day and age right now in 2020, where if I just said, yeah, one time I did whatever, a full investigation will open.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to take the threat seriously or the claim seriously. These are two, they're comparing him to Billy Jack Haynes in the chat. That's why I said that. He's given like, I murdered these cops and shit, like, okay, we should look into that, but nobody did as far as I know.
Because that leads directly to Clinton's. That's the
Probably
reason
he might be crazy like a fox. Yeah, you're right.
That's why it stops there. This is, a sexual predator, probably in the 70s, self-loathing, couldn't come out or whatever in that way. And probably is now either dead or he's the mayor of, whatever's going on in Columbus.
Like Secretary of State or something.
Could be at this point. But, a brick to the head and you're not expecting it. And who knows, like a 13-year-old isn't going to, do some crazy crime of like murder, but like backed into a corner, who knows? You hit a guy one time, he smacks his head and whatever it is, and this could be all a cocaine delusion at 7 a.m. where he's posting shit that's not even true or whatever. Who knows what a 50-year-old memory in his mind is after as many gimmicks as Marty's taken in his life. But radio silent, and then the follow-up by that afternoon, you got to investigate it, right? In this salacious dirt sheet world that's going to spin around. I called that morning on the Impact attack. I go, you watch, they're going to open this shit. It wasn't 3 hours later that TMZ's posting that the investigation is open, looking into cold cases around that time of missing persons. And
well, I wonder if it does turn out to be that he was just, something was wrong. You know what I mean? The chat talking about cocaine or whatever.
Through his daughter, he was those weird posts like 6 months ago that were like that.
There was something about a girl that he was tempted to be with or something. Remember that post? Yeah. There was something. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, even at the very worst, this could be a Juicy Smollett case. Gee, I like that name better. Yeah, where he's going to use up investigative resources, especially during these times, and they could sue him for the money that they had to spend to do the investigation if all was a drug or alcohol-induced update on his status. Do you see what I mean? Like, I'm fucked up, and I was just flexing my muscles on Facebook or whatever. They could sue him for that.
Sure.
For making a false claim that not that someone did something to him, but the other way around. And even if he was fucked up, he could still be liable for it. And he's not going to be able to pay them back from what I hear. I mean, all this, whatever situation he's in, or he's just going to he's going to go to jail for a while until they sort it out. They're going to investigate and they're going to hold him as they have to extradite him. I think he's still up in Jersey. He was in Jersey last time I checked a few years ago. He's not in Georgia anymore.
I'm not.
I should be a little scared, but
in the next 48 hours, I'm sure, they'll be on it. I'm sure Satin's all over this with a heart on.
Hey, listen, Marty too. I mean, this is a totally different point. This is a guy, both his ankles are completely rolled and fused in such a way from not healing. This is a guy that's been in rough shape for a very, very long time. I'm not saying that it could have been completely avoided or his behavior or anything like that, but the business tends to foster, because he was a really good draw. He was a great talent. He was consistently on WWE for what, 15 years? And could work and brought back to work with guys like Kurt Angle and all that stuff.
People say a better worker than Sean, really.
Better worker than Sean, an amazing worker. From what I've seen and experienced, just a fun, kind of like on the edge guy, but fun to be around and not a jerk or a bully or anything. But the business kind of fostered and never held that behavior to any consequence.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like he literally may not even know the difference between right and wrong at this point.
No.
I'm not making excuses, but I'm hoping he's just bullshit. I'm hoping he didn't do it. I'm hoping that shit never happened to him in the first place to make him do that. I'm just hoping he was just like, because it seems like it's a very erratic, two completely different situations in one Facebook update or whatever he did. That's what makes me think it's just he had these two crazy thoughts in his mind at the same time, and they came out at the same time.
Well, at the base of it, Freudian murder is there. You know what I mean? A sexual id where he was challenged as a young person and lashed out. And now he's having some strange feeling of betrayal or being put in that. And he's ready to lash out, but he's saying he's going to let him go. Like in his own mind, I'm just trying to channel through the synapses to be like, what is here that I'm reading? But the internet blew up about homophobia, homicidal, like the reel of what was coming. I knew, and it only took 3 hours from the time we went off air to get to that point. So last story, we would talk about it in Monday Locker Room when the Hustler was on there because I wanted his hot take on Triple H calling him out in the Pat McAfee, Adam Cole scenario that played out further last night. In the afternoon yesterday, I was like, what the fuck? Because Adam Cole and McAfee just got married. He said he's coming off his honeymoon to go to NXT, got his wife's permission to go make up with Adam Cole, where in the afternoon they shook hands and did a big buddy thing. So later at night when McAfee was on commentary or throughout the night, he was then taking jabs at Cole to make himself heel, and like Beth Phoenix and Morrow were like, come on, dude, not cool or whatever. Into the main event where it's the Undisputed Era for a title. Cole's at ringside. They start talking shit back and forth. He calls him a midget. Cole loses it at the end, throws water on him. Big separation that looked real, but we already had this makeup thing during the day, and they've put it into the wrestling bubble. And Rip kayfabed, he didn't want to go in and cut the promo because he wants to protect McAfee. So I knew he knew business, and I wasn't going to push it farther that way because I want Rip guys to all be successful and not get fucked over. But, the fight at the end is somewhat real. Here comes Game. Here comes Sean, and they're all separating them. McAfee doubles back and calls him a bitch. You'll be nothing more than a tiny little bitch. And that sends Cole off. He starts to climb over the table. McAfee backs up, punts him in the face. Looks very real. Cole goes down. Triple H shoves fucking McAfee to get him out. Unfortunately, McAfee, being green and in the wrestling moment, puts his arms up like, yeah, what's up? Instead of just walking out in a real manner. And then he's like, nice place you're on here. Real professional, as they push him out, which is a good little dig. But like, it got wrestling, as it's a wrestling show. So we could have stayed a little more real, but I don't know. That thing in the afternoon of them making up and being friends just added such a layer of wrestling discredibility to it all when we're trying to build heat. So we swerve it with a friendshipality to come back and get the punt that we know is going to happen in 6 hours. I'm just like, I just put out I retweeted the McAfee thing, and I don't want to shit on him, the Rips guy, because he's doing what Triple H is telling him to do. Like to do the friendshipality thing 6 hours beforehand is so fucking forced. So not real.
They thought they were throwing a swerve out there. Like nobody thought it was it's double. You're double telegraphing it, right?
Yep. It was so
raise their hand and walk around the ring and get ready for the clothesline, right? The old dude. Fucking.
Yeah.
Hey, dude. Here's the thing. I mean, I'm looking at it from a business and a brand perspective. McAfee is right behind Joe Rogan as one of the most popular podcasters right now. One of the most popular shows on YouTube and, whatever other subscription services for that. He's got a huge multi-million-dollar deal with FanDuel. You saw the famous video of him bringing backpacks of money to his staff for sticking with him. He is a babyface that's talking about mostly football, which is his lane to stay in. He's a wrestling fan. He's a mark. This is fun. He probably thought in his mind, this is a fun thing to be the bad guy and the heel and all this stuff, but it's not on brand for him. Now, what he's going to do, and this is going to kill it, and you can predict, what's he going to do when he goes back to the Pat McAfee show? What do you think he's going to do?
He's going to try and baby it with his boys. I don't think he might go back and say, fuck that guy, but he's going to be the baby when he got the punt on a guy who's flipping out. I don't know, man. Like,
no, I have another way. And then when it's over, I'm going to hate to cut you off. Just why I have the thought. He's going to talk about how it was a cool experience. It was fun. We had a great angle. Yeah. He has to do that to keep his credibility on the real brand. This is just a plaything for him. So I'm not saying he's not going to disrespect the business, but it's already wrestling bubble, and he's not going to go shoot, bang, bang, because people are going to say McAfee's a fucking dick. Why would I listen to a show?
I thought they did all that fuck you and fuck this and on the show, but then on NXT they didn't. They did the punt, and it should, you can call him a bitch. Oh, he said bitch. They if it's all pre-taped, it should have been fuck you, motherfucker. I'll kick your fucking, and like beep 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 beep. Like make it fucking real, dude. If you're gonna do work shoot, you cannot limp in. Triple H pushing McAfee had me more interested in Game versus McAfee than fucking McAfee versus Cole, dude. So,
dude, how small did Adam Cole look? McAfee's a midget. He's not a small guy, but he's not like he was smaller than Hunter. Hunter's a pretty big guy, although he's not as big as like he used to be. But Adam, man, and Adam was never that small. I mean, he's lean, but he doesn't look shredded or anything. He just looks like very thin. I don't know if something's up, if he's got some atrophy or something. Remember, I talked about that a few shows ago. If he's got a neck injury or something that's atrophying his body because he's lost so much size.
Yeah. I mean, he's still got definition and whatnot compared to Cole, but like Adam Cole did a good job with the acting as much as you can do in the wrestling of like really looking heated. The water throwing spot, I'm like, all right, now we're in wrestling and whatnot as far as any of that shit goes and pulling focus from the finish. But that was the big business at the end. And the Hamin media discussion group on Facebook was blowing up because of it. And it did biz how it should, kind of. I didn't have a problem with it, except for a couple things to tune up. But that thing in the afternoon, the double deke, was a bad look. Like that's just them being inside the wrestling bubble and not knowing how to get things done in a real way, dude. Would you really come off of your own honeymoon to go to NXT to have a sit down, bury the hatchet with Adam Cole, a buddy thing, dude? Like,
I think McAfee would in real life. He's such a mark.
Well, maybe I just was like, what?
Well, here's the thing too. The Hunter pushing him. If it was me and I'm a worker and I'm in the moment, Hunter pushes me, I'm going to be like, I'm feeling this. I jump on Hunter and go off the air with rolling around with Hunter. Cause now you're like, holy shit.
Real. That'd be real.
No, but I'm saying like, they go off the air when things come down rather than the old NWA, UWF, where we're out of time. We got to go.
Come back next week, fans. We got to stop this. Turn the camera off. Like that type of shit. Yeah, we want that frantic. Instead, it's get the business done, show game walking back, and then let's get the go home line. This place is unprofessional. Say that when you're going through the door there, and we'll go off that. Like they don't know. In improv, we're taught you edit at the height of the scene. That you don't want it to start to come back down that way. And they do that. You're right. 100 out of 100 times. They never really edit at the high point, dude. They never take it home when they should.
I don't know why they got to put the period on the end. People will tune in next week. And then what the old NWA thing would be, you remember watching that way back in the day that even UWF would do it. You'd leave on the big brawl and this and that. And the next week, no commentary, nothing. You'd actually pick it up again.
Right
and then
there.
You say, last week you saw this stuff. Today we're going to talk about, we're going to talk to the people that were involved and blah, blah, blah. And now you got your thread. You got your story arc.
But they wouldn't, because they got to go right to social media afterwards and show it instantly, show what's going on next. Instead of telling everybody, shut the fuck up. We're going to say everybody's suspended. We're not going to show that footage. And throughout the week on social media, we can't show you the footage, what happened, da da da. Somebody petitions that it's got to be shown. You do that through the week. Then the next Wednesday, well, the petition came through. We weren't going to show it, but this has to be released because of Freedom of Information Act requests. And and like, here it is, you guys. Afterwards, boom, right into it again if they need to. But like, they'll blow it within an hour after of it going off air. They'll show it.
I made the mistake one time. Vince had said that anybody who wants to learn and make suggestions can sit in the production meeting. I went with Dreamer, I believe, to sit in the production meeting. And we got looks like, what the fuck are you guys doing here?
Right.
I pulled Vince aside one of the few times I ever got the chance to do it. Hey, JR, I think I mentioned it to JR too. JR was there. And I said, I just got a question. I go, when soap operas kind of do their thing, they very rarely replay or B-roll footage from the episode before. Sometimes some big angles, they'll do it. I go, but wouldn't it be better if it was just like, if you didn't watch every minute of this show, you missed out, like must-see TV stuff. And then the next week you're like, shit, they're talking about this thing that sounds really cool, and I missed it. I have to stay tuned. They never gave me a definitive answer, but I have to think there's some value in that. Like, if you're telling people they missed out on something, they're not going to switch that channel so easily next time.
No, they don't. It's FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. You don't want to, but they don't have anything that is creative enough for the kids to be talking online or at the lunch table, be like, dude, you missed it. Goldberg fucking killed 3 guys last night. Oh, dude, my mom fucking grounded me. I couldn't watch shit. Like, there's nothing on their TV that's making kids or anybody water cooler talk. Oh, fuck, Austin drove a goddamn monster truck into the arena last night. You know,
you can miss 6 months and you know there's going to be 10 packages on Raw.
Yeah,
like, they're just going to recap it anyway. Why should I even do it?
Why not? Why ask why? But a good show to tune into this week is the Next Level podcast. This was the homework that Dr. Ted gave Colin and all of our listeners that week, and it's fun little projects of how would you have booked this, or even where you're going forward. What do you do with McAfee and Cole, where McAfee's not, a veteran wrestler? He's obviously a grade A athlete, and can Adam Cole protect him enough to not expose him in a match to pay this off? Which way will they go with it? Tune into the Next Level podcast here at hackerhamin.podbean.com. Very cool look at the developmental system of NXT, not the fucking gold brand, the developmental system, NXT. And then somebody will throw a Molotov cocktail and that'll end that. Because it's retribution, Stevie. Goddamn bution. But I'm going to get some retribution on these resistance bands today. I worked out pretty hard last night. Felt good. Getting motivated thanks to my personal trainer and personal motivator. You guys love him. You know him.
Y'all are you pussy. Y'all are you bitch. Y'all are you fat fuck. Y'all are you culture vulture. I hate you, you fat fuck.
And that'll get you on the ground to do 10 push-ups extra.
That sounds like he's in the bathroom with the echo. See my audio.
There's a couple different takes where he likes to switch up locations and wherever he's coming from, that you never know what it's going to be about.
I'd like to congratulate you for losing 60 pounds, but that doesn't change the fact that you are a fat fuck. It doesn't change the fact that you're a pussy-o. It doesn't change the fact that you're a culture vulture. It doesn't change the fact you're still a candidate for heart attack and diabetes, you fat shit.
Well, I feel good. I even threw on 12 minutes, the 12-minute Black Thought freestyle, and did nonstop kickboxing and Muay Thai to it, and didn't break for 12 minutes. So what's that? 3 rounds with no stop whatsoever. I was feeling pretty good after that. So
you're ready for that Shane Raw Underground fight?
Dude. I mean, I got to get in there, right? I mean,
I got these box bands that are resistance bands that you put on your body and you punch and kick with them. I'm testing them out.
I've got the chin-up bar, so I'll put the bands over that, and I stand up and do some resistance punches that way too.
That's what I want to start doing. I want to actually add that to the free content as a little 5-minute boxing workout that you can put with the programs.
Awesome. Dude, I love, that's my favorite cardio is any kickboxing or Muay Thai stuff. Once I get it going that way, I get super pumped up, put that Wu-Tang beat on, and I'm ready to rock and roll. So I'm definitely going to put in some grind today. I'm a little bit ahead of the game. We'll edit this show and record Silvio and MSG here for Light the Fuse at 11 a.m. So right about 55 minutes, we'll be back. Hopefully Sil can make it. Hopefully he's feeling well enough. And if not, we'll cover the show. Watch that last night. Some interesting takes on it. But what do you got going on the rest of the day, Stevie? Working on target practicing, new videos? What's up, man?
Yeah, we're actually right after this, we're heading up. I'm going to get that Glock 19X, and we're probably going to do the live fire version of the Mantis X10 Elite, the targeting system, the performance. We just put up that video the other day. People weren't on the fence about it the way they felt about that video. They either hated it or loved it. The people that loved it, of course, were very cool because the ammo is so expensive, and to go live fire is kind of a very expensive proposition. And ammo is a premium thing that people would need to protect themselves too. So I think it's an excellent product. And then, I'll probably do another flight sim to test this thing out. I like doing different stuff. See, that's the thing. I know I'm costing myself a little bit for some of my passion projects on YouTube, but there's little cool things I still need to, the whole thing with doing the workflow with Switcher Studio with the flight sim that I put up last night sparks me to think of different ways to do things with technology and Stevie Richards fitness. And there's a whole path of thought process to innovate and do different things.
You're pushing your limits of technology and your mind at the same time. It's an awesome expansion to watch happen, dude.
Yeah, and just doing stuff that I suck at. This is very much a Rogan thing. Yeah. I am really doing things that I suck at more as I get older because I want to get better, because I also don't want to be content. So the target practice with the guns, the bow is super tough. The flight sim stuff, doing other things, trying to learn how to create more magazine-like PDFs on future programs, things that I'm not good at, I want to get better at. And that's the only thing that keeps people like us, I think, going day to day. If we had it all figured out, it'd be pretty fucking boring, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, now I know if a Cessna flies by and I get shot out of the sky with an arrow out of nowhere, I'm going to know who the fuck did it. I mean, this guy just laid it all out in his own Marty Janetty stooge of how he's going to take people out. He's flying. He's got a bow and arrow. He's the silent killer, Stevie Richards.
And also my battle box will be here, I think, today or tomorrow. I'm going to be able to throw the axe out the window of the plane. Got him. So other than that, Stevie Richards Fitness, 12 and 16-week resistance band training programs. Lots of people reaching out with their lockdowns all over. Mm-hmm. And we don't ship the bands, but it's a digital download delivered instantly to your email. That means anywhere you are in the world, you can buy the program. That's the beauty about having an online business and a brand with virtual digital content that you can reach 8 billion people like that. But if you want your own home gym too, the code is Stevie5 right there in my lower third, forceusa.com, diamondbackfitness.com. We are averaging a really good amount of sales each and every month. It's a blessing. And, the wrestler in me is just saving it. I'm still living like I'm at Walmart. And those meals I got from Flex Pro Meals is something I'm looking to pass affiliate codes along to people. Still quite expensive. So I'm sort of uncomfortable about sharing the code, but that review will be up, and it's a very pragmatic, like realistic review of that. It's not just like I can't go anywhere without my Flex Pro meals. They're very good, but I'm not bullshitting anybody to say it's for everybody. There's certain people that be like, hey, just go and cook your food and do your thing. And then other people, it's like, if you travel, restaurants might not be open. You might not be able to even get takeout. They're charging, in Chicago especially, they're charging 4% surcharges on top of it because of the pandemic. So it becomes a little bit more of, okay, 10, 12 bucks a meal is like, if I'm traveling, that's about the same. And I know exactly what I'm putting in my body. So that's the kind of review, 20, 25-minute review, very detailed, each and every meal, each and every day covered, and how I think they should improve. So it's a long-winded way of saying I am not a fucking influencer. I am not somebody that I am an influencer in a way that the stuff I really like and what I endorse is shit I use every day, stuff I use, stuff I really do like. Force USA has been a part of my home gym for over 2 years, almost 3 years, Diamondback Fitness. And also, you know, the programs are mine. I created them because I wanted something better and more affordable for people. So I'm done with my tangent. I just want people to know when I put a code out there, it's only to save you money and give you the option to do that and support, obviously, the brand as you do it.
And even if we don't endorse and fully go for something where we like, yeah, this is where we're going to tie in and do something, we're happy to do reviews like this. And like you said, for the niche traveler or somebody's life where it might fit in a lot easier right now, that's more than enough for them or other companies to send Stevie you know, meals like that to try them out and give an honest review of it. He's not going to bury it. He's just going to say, you know, for my audience might not fit in, but I could see where here's the opportunity. And that might be the perfect feedback your company's needing, whether it's whatever the product is, you know? So we do pick and choose carefully, and I'm glad to help other people raise their following, you know, get more exposure, do crossovers like this Tech Meme Ride Home podcast we're going to be promoting. I think there could be some cool opportunities there, because it's not really for here's my product, sell it. It's more like-minded people finding each other, and the best will always find each other, like we do here at hackerhamin.podbean.com. And you know, again, if you can go over to iTunes or wherever you get your podcast, Tech Meme Ride Home, let them know that you heard about it on Hamin Media Group. That's only gonna help strengthen that relationship, because that's what they're in it for, is following, engagement, and people getting their numbers up. And what's that cost to click on there and check it out for 15 to 20 minutes? You never know, you might find a new little guilty pleasure, man. So and if not, there's plenty of guilty pleasures at prowrestlingtees.com/Stevie Richards /Ben Hamin /Crossfire Wrestling exclusive Ben Hamin shirt on sale today, 20% off still, using the code summertime, I believe. More on time is what I tried to convince them to
Fire
do.
sale.
Fire sale. That's a big we had stockpiles over there in Lebanon, so they got to go. There might be a hole or two in them.
There are also some killer deals on your store as well. I love that. I look, Vito loved that one.
Dude, I couldn't believe Vito sold for that, bro. I was like, are you seriously gonna try and heat me for making a Marty Janetty meme right now at the end of the day, midnight? Okay, Vito. But dude, there is no mercy in my propaganda. I'm gonna pluck the strings and go to it too early. There is no too early with Hacker, Hamin, and Infidels. It's the early morning Ultra Kayfabe Declassified Friday locker room here at hackerhamin.podbean.com, twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman, and my YouTube channel, Ben Hamin. Subscribe to them all. Go over and check out Russo's YouTube. Stevie and I doing great work over there, producing micro content, so you guys have something fun to listen to on your lunch hour, your coffee hour, your drive home, to tune out your kids, your mother-in-law, or wherever else you got that you need to get away from. We're here to help you escape. But Infidels, strap them up, lace them up, tie them up, because you never know when a NFL star is going to show up to run you down, kick you in the face, and call the police on you, and TMZ is going to investigate, because it's the Friday locker room where anything can happen. Stevie Cool at BWO Stevie Richards on Instagram, Hacker Hamin on Instagram, and Ben_Hamin on Twitter. Infidels, get your $5 face slap on. Y'all.